Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of MJLive. This is MJLive special, What is Love? So it's the month of love, the month of February. It is Valentine's Day month and also the month of God who really loves me. So tonight we're going to be joined by Christian and also Juan. We're going to go through some things with them. Let's talk about their path to meeting each other, what works, what doesn't work. So maybe we can all learn something because some of us are out there in relationship now and maybe they can help us. And for the ones of us out there that's searching, they can give us some pointers. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I'm so excited about this part one of the 3-part series, What is Love? The next 2 parts will be airing on next Monday and then the Monday after. Watch this space. Hey guys, welcome back, and I am joined tonight with Christian and also Juan. How are y'all doing tonight?
Great.
It's the glasses for me. I love those glasses.
Thank you.
So just a little behind the scenes drama tonight. Juan has the same exact outfit that I was gonna wear, so I had to go and change. But it is all good. Happy Valentine's Day to you guys.
Likewise.
How was your Valentine's Day?
It was amazing. We got to spend some time together and really just enjoy each other's company. Cook up some good food and
Who cooked? Juan?
ooh, you tried.
I'm just saying.
It was a collective effort.
But Juan, so you wash the dishes. Gotcha. So I got you. But that's cute. My Valentine's Day was great. I went and took myself out for my own Valentine's.
It's the best date.
You know, sometimes it is. So
Nobody knows you like you know you. That's why I say that.
that's right, Miss.
I'm just saying.
Especially when he cooked all food anyway. So technically,
We cooked the food.
we will go with that line. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. And guys, again, welcome back to another MJLive special. I am Micah-Jamal. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Micah-Jamal.
And I'm Chris. You can follow me at Little Bit Is Fit on Instagram.
Juan Smith Jr. and you can follow me on Instagram as the Juan Marcel.
Yes, the one more.
Okay, ain't nothing
I need to change mine to the Micah. Yes. So guys, tell the people a little bit about yourself. I think it's very interesting that you came from Ohio, correct? Oklahoma, sorry. And you came from Vegas, and your path led you to Atlanta.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what brought you to Atlanta, and then what brought you to Atlanta.
Well, I was originally born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My dad actually, once he graduated college, tried out for the Braves, and so he got on the team. Of course, with some bad knees, he wasn't able to pull it through. But once he realized he was going to be in Atlanta for some time, he went back to Oklahoma, and my mom got married. I was maybe 3 at that point, and then we moved here about 3 or 4 years later.
Got you. So the only thing you know is Atlanta.
Yeah, so pretty much, I'm a native of Oklahoma, but I was raised ATL, Chamblee, Tucker, actually. So.
Got you. What about yourself, Miss LaBit Fit?
Well, I ended up coming to Atlanta or Georgia. That's what I say, Georgia, not Atlanta. Was because of basketball, a basketball scholarship. I was playing basketball in Washington.
Okay.
And one day I woke up and said I want to go to a Christian, a D1 NAIA school. So by the grace of God, I kind of shopped myself around. I came and played basketball for the coach, and I got a scholarship. And so that's how I ended up here. And I just haven't left after I graduated.
Oh, so you were a basketball player.
I was.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
That's nice. So tell us, how did you guys meet?
We met at church, actually.
Okay.
We met at church where it was introduced by a mutual friend. And, as the story goes, we just, pretty much served together, alongside each other. She was over hospitality and handling like just the food and stuff like that. So, you know, some Sundays she need help, so we just reach out to help her out, and that's how the conversation got started. Really.
So you can't cook, but you're gonna make sure he eats. I like that now.
Oh.
See, that's lesson number one. Look, Bishop, write that down. Okay, you may not can cook, ladies, but you got to make sure he can eat.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
we definitely. Oh my God, that's good. So I think what kind of changed the trajectory of our friendship, because initially we were calling each other brother and sister, was a hug. One day we were both just in our routines and running around as we did, and I think I said, "Hey, bro."
Yeah, someone pretty much this.
And we came and embraced each other, and the feeling, and he can attest to it, the feeling was different. It's not a hug. It's like, oh, redo it on camera. We can't redo it because it's a feeling. It's something that we felt that was different.
I think it was magical.
Mm.
That's the word I use, you know.
Okay.
It's like equivalent. You know how a girl kisses somebody in the movies and they foot like kick up?
Right.
It's kind of like the hug version for me of that. It's a feeling that it's just so indescribable. And I left the hug like, what was that? And my friend was like, girl, I want a real hug. And I was like, it was. And in my head, I was thinking like, that was different. And then ever since then, he just been my knight in shining armor.
So I need to start hugging more. That's what I need.
It must be something in it because I'm not a hugger. I'm not, you know. Of course, you know you hug at church and you know
right.
meet people, but I'm not
That
one
was
of
the
y'all hugged
embrace.
up and everything. But the embrace was most definitely different.
So did you guys have any concern trying to date and serve at the same church? Because that can be good or bad. So what was that concern? Did you guys talk through it, or how did you get over that concern?
Well, I think it's like what you just said. It was definitely a conversation, an ongoing conversation, kind of see what both of us, you know, how we both felt about it, and how we would just like navigate through that process. And then we kept saying, and I say all the time, it is a process, and that's okay, you know. And I just been learning to trust the process, you know, figuring things out, and then also just asking a question like, you know, does this make you comfortable? Does this make you uncomfortable? You know, and we finding the answers to those questions, and that's how we've been making it. We ain't arrived yet, but we just
Right.
you know, learn
Like
how
I
to.
said, ongoing.
Yeah. And I think for me, the biggest thing is I've learned to embrace privacy. Prior to me and Juan, you know, deciding to court each other, I used to want that social media relationship where I will post cute videos and pictures, and not that we don't do that, but I definitely have more discretion because of the representation that can, you know, be perceived. So I've learned a lot of privacy, and I know even now I'm probably not as discreet as Juan would like me to be sometimes, because sometimes I just be wanting to show off day, you know. But it has taught me that everything is not for everybody, and just because they don't see it doesn't mean that the relationship doesn't have validity. So that's one thing that I've definitely learned in us, you know, courting each other.
Point number 2, write this down. Keep the hoes out your business. Write that down. That's not what they said, but that's how I interpret it. That's the Micah version. Keep the hoes out your business. So what do you guys think, or still is the hardest part though, about dating and at the same church? And another question, because I had a friend go through this now. Hypothetically, it doesn't work out. Do you guys decide, have you talked about who's going to stay at the church? Or both of you guys staying at the church? Or both of you guys sleep in the church? Or how does that look?
I think those are good questions.
Which I'm rooting for it to stay.
Absolutely.
They ain't got no problem. Again, keeping the hoes out your business. But that is a
Don't
serious
look
question.
too long, lady.
Right.
No, it's a good question to answer because it has been a you know, I'm an open book. I don't know how to do it one way, and it's honest, you know. So it has been a challenge.
Right.
Serving and trying to figure out what discretion looks like, you know. And of course, anyone gets together, especially, you know, she won't admit it, But Christian is known throughout the church, you know, and she actually works on an executive in the church.
Right.
So everybody knows her, you know, and so everybody's kind of like, well, who is this? You know, so it was almost like, who is he? And why is he coming out the Christian? Like I was, you know, trying to get somewhere. So that was the first challenge. And then like she said, I'm an extremely private person. And so just a lot of the attention that came with it kind of just almost made me like, you know what? I'm good.
Right.
This, you know, but we stuck it out. Talk through it, and we also have, you know, advisors, you know, mentors, you know, that advise us in a way, you know, be mindful of this, or how y'all feel about this, or what's going on, so we can, you know, talk to people who have been there, who are in ministry, who got married in ministry, who are still going through ministry, whether they're divorced, married, single, whatever. So we have people we can talk to, but it was definitely a challenge. It still is a challenge from time to time, to be honest.
And I think the biggest thing that we are learning is the communication aspect of it. We both are one and the same, but very different. And so our verbal communication and how we communicate has been, and you can attest, has been a bit challenging because we are very different in that area. Like me, I want to just, let's talk about it right now. And he's like, yeah, no, and don't send me books, and I don't need to, you know. And so even when we come across things at church, because for me, my struggle at church has been, again, he's very discreet, and for me, I just want to feel like I'm acknowledged. And sometimes I can feel like, even though he goes out of his way, like, hey, good morning, you know, he'll whisper it. I need to be like, good morning, babe, you know, and that's not really what he does. So just navigating that and communicating the needs and what our love languages is when it comes to church is what we are still, you know, trying to navigate. And I feel like we're starting to master it. But in the beginning, I will say it was very unsettling for the both of us, because I wasn't against people knowing, but a part of me was like, I know he doesn't really, you know, want everybody all up in the beeswax, whether we are good or not good. You know what I mean?
So what is your love language, guys?
I feel like I have a piece of all of them.
Actually, that's one of the questions, so we're gonna just skip.
Okay.
So we're gonna skip past that till the game starts.
Okay.
So, one, you have a child.
Yes.
Christian, you don't have a child yet. So for people, because I have heard, and I've heard people who say, I don't think that I'll be able to date someone with a child. But my question back to them is, but what if that is your one person?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you navigate with being a add-on to his life? Because, I mean, you are adding yourself into a family.
Well, I will say I initially was the person who said I will not date anybody with children. I was very adamant about that. But again, the hug is something different. It changed my whole everything. No, but I think what I have learned to embrace and understand is his parenting. I mean, God forbid, but even if we didn't work out, I will always commend him for the man that he is and the father that he is to his daughter. It's amazing. Like, the father that he is to his daughter is the father that I've dreamt of. So that makes it easier for me to be able to, you know, become a part of that support system. Because in past situations where I've been exposed to somebody that has a child, they weren't effective fathers, in my opinion, and they weren't very active fathers. So when you're dealing with somebody who's not really invested in the relationship with their child, and you're becoming a part of that, you don't really know how to navigate the situation because they're not navigating it. But since he is active and very much well in tune with everything that goes on with his daughter, it makes it easier for me to not only glean from him, but to take some of his pointers, and that helped me build a relationship with her. So with me becoming an addition, one, is an honor, and two, I love it. Like, he'll tell you, like, me and his daughter, you would have thought that she's known me. Like, that's how much we get along, and I love the fact that she trusts me. Any child can gravitate to somebody and be like, oh, I like such and such. but I know that she trusts me. So if her daddy said, I need you to go with Chris somewhere, she will feel comfortable going with me and not like, you about to have me go with this stranger.
Yeah, right.
And for me, that means more than
Right.
anything else because she trusts me. And I love her as if I didn't birth her out of my body, but I love her as if I did. And I'll go to bat for her because that is my daughter. That's how I feel.
So one, how was that conversation that you had with your daughter before she met Chris?
Well, you know, for those who know Savannah Lee, she is very intuitive. People always say she's been here before. So we've had this conversation. I think the first time we had a conversation about me possibly dating and then getting married again was she was 4 or 5, and she started the conversation. Because full disclosure, her mom married again, and she didn't feel so comfortable, with that, and it wasn't really, a conversation that was had, and so she came to me about that, So I listened and we talked about, and her main concern was, I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want the things that are us that we do to change when someone else comes in. This is a 5-year-old saying this. And so I can understand that. Both my parents be married. I'm the oldest of 8. They're half sisters and brothers. All these different things. So I can understand it. So we just sat down. I told her, I was like, hey, I want you to be honest with me.
Right.
How do you feel about the thought of daddy dating? She told me her thoughts. And I said, well, what about getting married and having more kids? And she told me her thoughts, and she was excited about it. So when I introduced her to Christian, of course it was a friend. But her being so advanced, she was always looking like, is she a friend? Or she'd say a friend. So she was kind of ready for that, but I'm always about what's best for her and what made her comfortable. So before I decide on anything, I make sure she's a part of it, And so even when it came, I would always ask her how she felt about her. And so it got to the point where we couldn't do anything without me having to invite Christian. And I was sitting there like, well, it's supposed to be daddy, though. She said, yeah, Dad, but we have more time, but I want this. So when I saw that, because, if anybody knows, my daughter's a lot like me in that aspect where I don't fool with everybody. And she would sit there, you could say, hey, Savannah, and she'd go like, hi. And be as dry as I don't know what, And so, but to see how she, interacted with Christian, it let me know, I was like, okay. Like Christian said, she's comfortable with her. And she engaged on her own, so.
So that's another point. Write that down too. Don't leave your kids out, because I think that's one issue that most of my friends, even myself, that had parents to go and start dating other people or remarried, is that we was not involved in the conversation. So it's literally you bringing a foreign object into our world. So naturally they're going to reject it. Because it's foreign. It's just like when you put foreign things in your body, it's gonna be rejected.
Yeah.
So it's good that you sat down, and that's a word.
Yeah, because you have to prepare it. You can't get a piercing without cleaning it and making sure the ear is prepared.
That's
you have
right.
to prepare her.
So and you prepared. So that is a good thing. So now we're going to start our little game. So if you go ahead and grab your clip. Roll your whiteboard. So this is the game that I like to call "Oh Hell No." And the reason why I like to call that is because sometimes answer is gonna match, and sometimes they're gonna be so far off, and one of your partners may say, "Oh hell no." So let's start. It's gonna be very simple, starting out. Then
So should I make him so I don't see his stuff?
yes,
Okay.
you cannot show. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna ask the question. You guys gonna have 10 seconds to write the answer, and then I'm gonna say show, and you turn it to the camera so everyone can see your answer at the same time. And then we'll,
Right big.
if we need to talk about it, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right. So besides the child that one currently have, how many more children do you want? Show. 2 and 2. Okay. Okay, good. So, if everything keep going as well as it is going, how many months from now would you like to be married?
Oh Lord.
What is it, that February?
Yep.
Like,
How many months? Uh-huh. All right, ready, show. 12 and 18.
Oh, that's gonna
So
say
let's talk.
12 to 16.
All right. So you say a year from now. You say a year from and a half from now. Now, can you do a year from now?
I could. I just was.
She can do 6 months from now.
She can do 6 days from now, but we're not gonna talk about that too much. So So 12 months from now, it's gonna be a winter wedding. 18 months now, we're gonna be like a fall wedding. So
Not you.
listen, this is my job. I should know these things. So what? Next question. Then we'll talk.
Okay.
And I'm cheating because of that question.
Okay.
So, what season wedding would you like to have? Winter, summer, fall, or spring? Show. Summer, okay. Next question then. What city, if you want a destination wedding, what city would you like this wedding to be in? And once, let me just go ahead and say this. I am not in cahoots trying to get married, question answer. I'm just flowing with the questions, okay?
I got you.
You look like you said.
Why did I know you were gonna say that? All right, show. Why did I know you was gonna say that? One say right here in the good ATL, and you
said destination.
I said if you wanted one.
Because there's beach.
She's been trying to go there forever. She loved that little
It's
place.
a mansion overlooking some water that I like.
So one, and then you gotta answer for yourself.
Okay.
What is Christian's dream job?
What is Christian's dream?
You got to write it down.
Oh, I gotta write it down.
Yes.
Oh.
And you gotta answer what is your dream job?
Oh.
5 seconds. All right, and show. A doctor.
That was.
We should executive assistant.
Yeah. But no, he's right. He's right too.
Because I'm gonna say you're going to get your doctorate.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Reed. Okay, so what would be Juan's dream job? And that is so cute because that always happens because, like I try to tell people, your partner knows way more about you sometimes than you know about yourself. You writing a paragraph over there, Juan? That's a lot of jobs. All right, Christian, 5 seconds.
I don't know. I mean, I know, but I don't know how to put it in words.
Show.
I just.
Motivational speaker mentor. That's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to say. Yes, it is. It actually is.
Okay.
So I got you.
man.
I was trying to figure out like.
So who would be the cook in a relationship? It's gonna be you're gonna say him or me, and you're gonna say her or me for the next couple questions. Who would be the cook in a relationship? Let's figure this out. Who cooked this Valentine's Day dinner? Show. Right, okay. Okay, next. Who liked who first? Who liked who first?
Oh, you're supposed to.
All right, show. Okay, Juan did. Good. So next question.
Yeah, I'm so childish.
You are, but it's okay.
Sorry.
Who initiated the first date? Who initiated the first date? Ready, set, and go. So, okay, hold on. Hold on. So you beat this man up today too? To go on a date? Like
No.
we should told Norman. You do now. Get your ass up and hold my hand.
No, we had when we started initially courting each other, we didn't go on a date. We just was like spending time together. He came to my birthday brunch that you didn't come to, and yeah, I was like, babe, we never went on a date or had a date. So I planned like this big date night. It was so big, and so big. We had what did we do? We had the full body massages.
Oh my gosh.
And then we got foot massage.
I was touched out. We
That
had a full body massage, and then with pedicure, and they did the massage on the leg. I was like, I don't want nobody else
touches
to
it.
touch
You want
me.
me to touch you? So we did that.
It was nice. It was really nice.
Yep, and then we had got a hotel out in Atlanta, and then we drove all the way back to my house in Gwinnett, and
She cooked.
I cooked him some dinner.
And you stayed?
It was really good. I had to see. I had to
She
see.
cool there.
Well, I didn't see it cooking.
Oh, okay.
Hey, really? I cooked some stuffed salmon, vegetables,
Okay.
and a baked potato. And then after, we went back to our hotel.
And my favorite wine.
And yeah, had his favorite wine, and we watched his favorite movie. And then we went back to the hotel.
Oh, cool, because that leads us to the next question. So, what is Christian's favorite movie?
Oh.
Write it.
It's a good question.
It looks like she don't know either, guys.
Ooh.
Now, while y'all are writing, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Because the very last episode, part 3 of What is Love, I have a throuple. So this game is going to be very interesting. And I'm trying to see if I want to be petty or not. But we'll see.
You gotta make it fun.
We'll see. All right. 5 more seconds.
I don't have anything.
Ready, set, show.
Don't have one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Look at y'all. Look at y'all.
I'm not really a movie person. I watch movies with him, but I'm not really.
I've been on TV and I mean, she'll find the shows, but
Who is Christian's favorite person to listen to when it comes to music?
It's not just one.
Well, let's see what he says. Let's see what she says. Hey,
Got it?
whatever you want. You got 10 seconds to write how many name or whoever you want to write. Three, 2, 1. Let's see. R.J. Tank. I can't see. And who else?
Avant.
Avant. What did you say?
Bow Wow.
That's my celebrity husband.
So,
That was a good one, baby.
what is Juan's favorite movie? All right, show. Coming to America 2.
Yeah, I put 2.
Was the first one, but then the second one is, of course.
Wrong!
I thought I was kind of hesitant for 2, but I just got 2.
Okay, Coming to America. That's a long movie. But okay, cool.
He loves that movie too.
All right, so when you guys are hanging out, do you prefer pop, R&B, or gospel?
Situation.
I said hanging out. Let's show. R&B. Okay. The perfect vacation. Will it be a beachfront or a cabin?
For whom?
Just together. Let's see. You gonna say
We
beach?
said
ain't you?
opposite.
Okay.
We said both.
I was
Oh.
gonna say beach for her because that's what she knows.
And that's she only said cabin because of you, because she knows she would do a beach any day. With Ramani, I want to take a trip, a beach trip. Okay, cool.
We like travel.
Oh well, I'll find somebody to come with me, so I won't be third on my own trip. But okay, I got you. All right, so one more question.
Okay.
One more.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be like a deep question.
You got ready for this question?
I think. On that face.
Y'all sure y'all ready for this?
I'm not sure.
He said, I don't know.
He put his cap back on his feet.
He said, I don't know if I'm sure. All right. So, what? Oh no, I got a couple of them. I'm trying to see which one I want. Like, which one to go.
That music should be playing like that.
No, for real. So, what is the city that you would like to settle down for the rest of your life in? After you did everything you want to in the world, what would be the city for y'all? Let's see.
I don't know if we've been talking about this.
All right, ready, set, and show.
Wow, that's surprising. I thought Atlanta.
San Diego and Atlanta.
Well, you know what? That makes sense because Bug loves San Diego.
That's a
She
big.
did.
I've always wanted to live there,
And
but
he did say he
if
loved
not
it.
San Diego, it would definitely be Atlanta. I don't.
But San Diego costs too much money. So
Money's
it's
not gonna be a
about
factor.
It's so
Amen.
nice though, and just.
yeah, it's not gonna affect you. You
Yeah.
still want to spend your money on other things, not that
You
stupid
can travel.
blue state. But we're not talking about that.
Oh, he always knows how to throw the politics in, don't he?
But
It's
we're not gonna-
okay. It's okay.
But we're not gonna talk about that. But it's okay. So going back to our conversation, and thank y'all so much for y'all game.
That was
That
fun.
was fun.
It was. And so the reason where I got this game from was when I was engaged to my wife. We went to my hometown, and that's the game that we played.
How many questions did you get right?
I literally got every last question mark right.
Huh.
I did. She got a couple wrong, but I got everything right. Because even though I'm at 100 all the time, I'm always paying attention. And I'm always listening. So if you say something and I hear, I'm not never.
That's my favorite flower.
See. Did we talk about your favorite
We
flower?
did.
When?
When we first became friends, we did.
When? Cause you talking about that stuff you wanted at your
At my wedding?
place that I didn't make it to.
Yeah.
But we got over that.
We did.
We got over that. Cool.
He was
So
present though.
when it comes to you guys, let's say it's an issue. This a big issue, and you guys don't see a compromise. What happens?
I don't know. That's a good question. We've actually had moments like that, and like she said earlier, how our communication is slightly different. I'm more of the type like if we can't reach a resolve, like let's kind of put a pin there and come back to it, you know. And I think sometimes that me personally, what I've done before is if we're both comfortable with it, let's go talk to somebody or a couple that we look up to or that advise us to kind of see where we are, you know, or what we're missing. Because, you know, we got a lot of similarities, but we see things differently.
Right.
And, you know, we hear things differently, you know, so that's my take on it. Like, if we can't reach a resolve or even just agree to disagree, let's park a lot. Let's put a pin in it and just come back to it and go on. Because I haven't done that in the past. So I'm learning that, you know, it's sometimes you look back and you realize it's not worth it. It's not that serious.
And I would just assume you're the one that's want to air it out right now. Don't let the sun go down on your house.
Right. Well, I think for me, I want to gain understanding, which is why I'm so persistent in trying to resolve it. But in doing that, I've learned that it causes more frustration and adds more. For our situation, I can't say that for everybody. For our situation, it adds more fuel to the fire. So having to humbly bow out. Yeah, it definitely is challenging. But I mean, this was my first time hearing him say like the couples thing, so that makes me excited because I never knew that he would want to do that. Because that's something that I'm like, let me get another, But
yeah, I don't. If anyone knows me, I'm a product of mentorship, and I'm big on it takes a village. My mom was a single mom and she raised 3 boys, so it was a lot of people. It was part of that process. Me and my brothers are all college educated, just going on and figuring out things in a healthy manner, and it's only because of the people that she surrounded us with. So I believe the same thing when it comes to a romantic relationship. Like, I'm not closed off and say our business is our business. I'm like, no. There are people who are out there who've been through hell and high water, figure some things out. Let's tap in.
2 points that they made that I want to
write that down.
I want you guys to write down. Point number 1 is the last point that he just made. Is you go to someone who can help. Don't go to these hoes who can't even stay together 2 days without maybe fussing and fighting. You got to get people who actually can help you. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, you're not an island.
Yeah.
You have to communicate. You have to help. Because again, it's 2 different people trying to have 2 different worlds come together. And one thing that I just grown to learn, whether it's relationship or friendship, you can be right or you can be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes you cannot be both. And I know that's hard for me. But, so that's one thing that I did take, and I had to learn the hard way. Either you want to be right at this moment or do you want to be in a relationship.
I like the way you put that.
So.
Don't start saying that. Do you want to be right?
I'm
Look, write it down. Write that down. But yeah, so that's one thing that I have learned. So what would you guys say, wrapping this thing up, and thank you guys have been amazing to talk with you guys. What would you guys say have been the biggest challenge, and what have you done to overcome that challenge?
We faced some things. I think the biggest thing right now, or in totality so far, has been just the communication. Him trying to learn how I communicate, me trying to learn how he communicates. When I'm learning when enough is enough and to stop, and he's learning when he needs to say stuff or not. And I think just balancing that and understanding that is probably been the most challenging for us, and it's still something that we're working through. But I can proudly say that we aren't where we were, and that we call them heated fellowships. I think it just tickles my soul because I call them spats. He says heated fellowships. We're learning how to, navigate it better. So even just transparency, we had a little heated fellowship not too many days ago, and it just grinded my gears that we had to end that conversation. But then in my mind I was like, okay, Chris, like enough is enough, And so there's growth in that because he was able to speak and say what he needed, and I was able to digress and be like, okay, enough. You need to calm down. You need to just let it ride, and we'll revisit if we need to. So we're getting there for sure. But that challenge for us is the communication.
The picture that just came in my head when you said when you was like enough is enough. I thought about boxing, right? And you're going bout after bout after bout. And there are times when you want to keep going, and then it takes the referee or the official to call us out. Y'all tired.
Yeah.
Just go to your corners, chill out, and think it through. And I think for me, sometimes that's where, in this same situation she's referring to, I felt in that moment that's where we were. Let's just back up. Because we're dancing in circles. We're not really getting it. It's just causing more frustration. And that's the point where I don't really think we're hearing each other. Let's just back up. Let's leave it here and go on to something else. And then if we need to, revisit it. Of course, she wasn't feeling it. But I will say this, that I try my best to communicate where I am. Because in the past, I haven't done so. And it left the other person feeling like, oh, you just don't want to hear what I have to say. You just want me to be quiet. And that's not my intention. So So I definitely want to hear, but I don't think it's getting either one of us anywhere anytime fast. Let's just like parking lot, just put a pin in it right here, and we'll come back to it. So.
And I think what's good is that our tomorrow isn't affected by what happened today. Whereas that probably wasn't always the case in the beginning of us courting and dating each other. But we kicked it as if nothing happened. And that's what I love about our relationship, because there's people who get into arguments and go to bed and not speak to each other. Where we might have moments where we need to take a moment, but we still come back the next day and we're still
like we
one Chris. And
we're learning and have learned how to.
Yeah.
I've learned personally that I can't do this. Like I can't talk to it. You know, we're able to do this. You know, and the more we do it, it's like wow.
Yeah.
Doing this, like,
Yeah, and it makes it worth it, and it makes the decision, to continue our relationship and potentially grow to marriage. It makes it that much more meaningful, because he's not just my significant other or the person that I like to be cute and booed up with, but he's my best friend. And when I can have an argument with my best friend and the next day we still rocking and cracking jokes and sending crazy emojis and stuff like that.
We have entire conversations, just
4 different conversations.
Is it gifts? Gifs? However you say it.
Yeah. So that is just refreshing to me, because it hasn't always been like that for me either. And that's how I know I can publicly say that I know that I'm in love with him, because I've never had that type of relationship with anybody.
I will say this is the last thing I'll say. I know you're wrapping up, but this was years ago, and I remember this was an interview that our pastor was in. This not tied to Dream Center, but this was many years ago. He was being interviewed, and they were just talking about how leaders they become so famous, so they rise, but they fall so hard. Like, how do you prevent that? What do you do about that? And I remember him saying this, and I apply it to everything. He said, I believe that God gives us the grace and the time to work on certain issues and matters while you're still low to the ground. So if you get it right and get it together while you're still low, as you're being elevated, it's not so much of a major issue. So it won't cause a major obstacle in your way for you to fall.
Right.
I think about that even before marriage, like us figuring out some things and really building that foundation while we're still low, right? While we're still on the ground. So as we continue to progress and flourish, and that elevation does come to marriage and so on, that we worked and figured some things out that won't cause such a tear in the fabric of our relationship. So that's how, I always apply when he said that. I apply to everything, every aspect of my life. Like, figure some things out. Put your work in while you're still on the ground. Right? So
this work, okay? This thing, we have our moments.
So a few write downs that I got from this. Write this down, because they both kept saying this, that we will put a pin in it and come back to it if we need to.
Yeah.
Not every conversation is meant to be revisited. Write that down.
Yes.
Because that is so true. And I think a lot of people, I think we get so caught up with trying to go back to that right thing, trying to get our point across and our point out there, that we are dancing around the situation and we just have to let it die. Because, and write this down as well, guys, the main important part of communication is comprehension. Yes. What did I just say? Yeah. Because once we are mad and we are at 1,000, I'm not comprehending what you're trying to say, because I'm trying to butt in before you finish, because I want my point, out there. So again, like you guys said, put a pin in it. Come back if you need to. The next write down is very simple. Do the work behind the scenes. Do the work behind the scenes. Yep. And that is good advice. Any other advice or that you guys want to drop on the people before we head out?
I will say this, just to tag on what you said, when listening, listen to understand, not to respond.
Right.
I think a lot of times we do that. Like you said, we're ready to defend. Like, oh, my point. Listen to understand, because if you listen long enough, you'll really get what they're trying to say. And I think we struggle sometimes with it because we're not really understanding the person, nor comprehending who they are, who's not listening. And I think they're always listening to their nonverbals. Listen to what, because one thing that she's good at, I see you good. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm okay. And I'm like, Say it again. I don't know how I'm telling her, like, what's going on? What's wrong? And I know just how she says it. It may be the same word, the same phrase, but it's how she says it. I know her body's giving off something different, or she didn't even look up. It's just certain things that she does with her nonverbals. I'm like, something's up, you know. So, I think that's part of the communication. He's even the nonverbals, not just the verbal, but the nonverbal.
And my advice would be just to truly be intentional with getting to know who you're with. Because it's one thing to know them, but it's one thing to really understand who they are as a person. Because then that way, not only do you know their love languages, but you know them outside of their love language. So we don't start and end with our love languages. There's other aspects to us, and I think me learning how Juan is, his mannerisms, how certain things make him tick, and certain things that tick him off. That helps me be able to be a better, significant other to him, as well as another support system in his child's life. So I think really understanding who you're with in all aspects is important. And if you're not willing to put the work in to truly understand, then you're not ready, because this thing with relationships, that's a part of it. Social media shows you the glitz and glam, but they don't show you the work.
The behind the scenes.
The BTS.
So thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I really enjoyed you guys. The first part of What is Love. Guys, listen, I hope you literally wrote down what we were saying. I know we were joking, but I hope you did write them down, because it's great. They are great nuggets to not even relationship, companionship, but even friendship.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff that we really need to know, because some of y'all out there fussing with your friends, and it ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. Just let it go. Put a pin in it. If it needs to come back up, let it come back up. If it doesn't, just let it die. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Go ahead, if you are on our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Micah-Jamal. Share this video with your friends. Let us know what you think, what you thought about the interview tonight. Please catch us back here next Monday at 9 p.m. We're going to be interviewing Mr. Tim and Miss Melissa, an interracial couple. We're going to talk about how was it 20 years ago coming to your parents and saying, hey, I have a black boyfriend, or hey, I have a white girlfriend. What did they say? How did that look? Even today, what do you think is going on in the world? How do you guys feel you're treated being an interracial relationship? All that and more next Monday. I love you guys, and have a great night. Well, we're clear. Thank you, guys.
Good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.